running away from it so fast, but guess what, boys and girls? It ain't got lost on anybody. They still believe it. And the second pillar was the budget. The budget that was put together by Ryan, by Congressman Ryan. A good, smart, good family man, good husband, great, but a very different view about things. And what'd he say? Seriously. They put together the Ryan budget, which passed the House Republican budget, led by Mr. Cantor and others. He put it together. By the way, this is not guessing. They passed the budget. It's in black and white. And when it got passed through the House, stopped by Mark and Democrats in the House, the Senate, when it got passed, Governor Romney said it was a marvelous budget. And he said, were he president, he put it into operation. Ladies and gentlemen, that budget eviscerates education. It takes away all the help for kids getting to college in terms of tuition tax credits. It cuts Pell Grants. And it turns Medicare into a voucher program, knocks 19 million people off of Medicaid. Ladies and gentlemen, the New York Times, when it passed, here's what it said. This is not quoting the Times. It said it's the most extreme budget plan passed by a House of Congress in modern times. Even Newt Gingrich called it right-wing social engineering. But folks, all of a sudden, it got uncovered. Somebody pulled back the seal. Everybody saw it. Now, if you notice, they're not for that budget. Where'd it go? As our 7-year-old granddaughter would say, Natalie said, did Casper the Friendly Ghost steal a pump? Where did it go? Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan had an explanation. Congressman Ryan said, my budget doesn't cut, it just slows the growth. That's a little like Mitt Romney standing on an unemployment line and turning to the man or woman about to register and say, I didn't outsource your job, I just offshored your job. These guys have a different language. And quite frankly, they're shameless. Absolutely shameless. All the things they ran on now, they are silent on, as if they don't believe them anymore. You know that old expression? My mom used to use it all the time. She said, Joey, your character is not measured by what you do when people are looking. It's measured by what you do when no one is looking. And ladies and gentlemen, their policies haven't changed. As President Clinton said, their economic policy is Bush on steroids. God, he's got some good lines. Massive tax cuts for the wealthy. And by the way, I come from the wealthiest state in the country per capita income. I learned one thing a long time ago. Wealthy people are just as patriotic, just as decent, work just as hard as poor folks do. They're good people. But the last thing they need, and they know it, is another massive tax cut. The second thing these guys ran on and want to do, Governor Romney says the first thing he'll do is repeal the Wall Street reform legislation, giving control back to Wall Street and letting know for real. I'm not, if this weren't so outrageous, you'd think I was making it up. The second thing they said was let the banks go back to rewriting their own rules again. Folks, look, folks, we've seen that movie before. We know how it ends. It ended in the Great Recession of 2008 that robbed people of $16 trillion in wealth in the equity in their homes and their 401ks and caused 9 million good people to lose their jobs. That's what it did. Look, there's too much at stake for the middle class, too much at stake for the American people. And in the final hours of this campaign, not only the part that doesn't in a sense surprise me, the governor trying to run away from his record and change his positions, but they're doing something else. They're saying, they have an ad out there, particularly in Ohio, where a lot of people are back to work because of the rescue of the automobile industry. And here's what it says. I want you to go back. Here's what it says. The Cleveland Plain Dealer, when talking about this ad, it said, no matter how much, referring to the governor, no matter how much confusion he must sow to do it, you notice, he went to say, no.
Here, Joe Biden is giving it to
I was for it.
Paul Ryan.
I mean, if you or I did that, we'd be shot. I mean, we'd be, I don't know how you, anyway, it's just amazing. Then he said, no, they didn't do what I wanted to do. What they did was the president forced, this is the ad runner, put Chrysler into bankruptcy so Chrysler could be sold to the Italians. I don't know what he has against the Italians. I married an Italian girl. And then he says, that's the God's truth of the ad says. And then it says, so that the Italians could ship Jeep production to China. Folks, look, GM and Chrysler have denounced the Romney ad as not only untrue, but a lie. I was saying to Mark, when's the last time you remember in a presidential campaign, with days left in the campaign, two major American corporations publicly criticizing a Republican nominee for president? When's the last time you ever heard that? No. You know it's got to be a whopper for them to do that. But the best, and I'm going to be serious, this is a serious note. The thing that bothered me most about the ad, coming from, in Delaware, we lost all our automobile facilities. We used to have the second largest per capita number of auto workers in America. Because we're a small state. We had General Motors and Chrysler.
Oh, they both close.
All the suppliers, Mopar, and they're all gone. And a lot of people decimated. The same thing happened out in Ohio. But now, because of the rescue, they're back in their feet. The unemployment rate in Ohio has dropped precipitously. They're beginning to gain their confidence. And here's what the Denver Post said about that ad run by Romney. And I want you to listen to it because it really is in the heart of what bothers me about the way these guys are campaigning. I don't blame them for running away from what they said. I get that part. But I do blame them. I do think it's wrong, the ad they're running. And here's why I say that. The Denver Post said, and I quote, beyond the ad's veracity is a question about character. It goes on to say, the ad, referring to the ad they're continuing to run after every major outlet has said it's a lie, a misrepresentation. The op-ed piece of the editorial goes on to say, it bespeaks an indifference to the concerns of Ohio's working class. And that is just as revealing as backing an ad that is leaves a wholly untruthful impression.